if you're watching this in the future. Yeah, as the title suggests, this stream will be a bit more laid back without an overall plan. I'll just do some different stuff that needs doing. And, well, there's no real target or goal for the stream today, at least, since let's see, I'm just gonna set up the stream. Since overall I'm still working on the level editor, and we need a lot of different small improvements to make that work as best as possible. Hello, buddy. Long time no see. Hello. It's going all right. I just came home from the gym and work. How about you? Yeah, you can try asking me. I'm not certain that I can answer. Just a sec. Shouldn't be too bad, huh? No, you would create a you would load the meshes and store them in an index and vertex buffer, and then you would create a list of materials, and you would simply tell the renderer which material you want to use for each object. That also allows you to do what is called batching or instancing, where you can take the same mesh and apply different materials to it. No, no, you don't reload them. You load them once, and then uh, okay, okay. So a mesh is just vertices, normals, UVs. So you store each mesh once in a vertex buffer and an index buffer. And then in your rendering pipeline, you create a lot of different materials, many different materials, and maybe load a lot of textures. And then each time you make a draw call, you make sure that the correct material and the correct texture is bound to your shader. And then when you do your draw call on your rendering engine, the shader will make sure that the texture and the material is applied to the mesh. So there's no need to create materials for each mesh if some meshes have the same materials, but of course you need to load textures for all meshes that have different textures. Does that make sense? Yeah, but you can do instanced drawing or batching as it's called, where you take the same mesh and render it many times, but with different positions different rotations, different scales. That's called batching or instancing. Hello, buddy. How are you? How to avoid what? Hello, buddy. Welcome. Let's see. Yeah, you can do that if you want and if it's necessary. But well, that's a good question. I haven't really decided on anything specific. I have a lot of different tasks to do. Well, you know that you can swap information in each shader between draw calls, right? I don't know what API you're using. If you're using OpenGL or DirectX11 or Vulkan or whatever, but you simply change the bound texture to each shader between each draw call. Maybe OpenGL hides that from you so you don't know, but that's how you actually do it if you have to do everything manually. Yeah, so the shader program is the same. The mesh and the material and the texture gets swapped around between draw call. Well, you know when you create your objects, or am I misunderstanding you? I'm from Scandinavia. How about you? Yeah. Oh, okay. That's great. Well, I'm not gonna specify anything more specific than Scandinavia. I prefer to, since I work a public job, I prefer to be somewhat anonymous. And Mr. Yes, that sounds great. Well, then you know the feeling, huh? Sometimes it's better when people don't know who you are. Makes your real job easier. Uh, Well, clicking is something like input polling and then detecting whether the mouse or the input was related to the UI element. In my DirectX tutorial, I actually create materials for objects. I don't create textures, but I create materials. It's depending on your API. What graphics API are you using? Because the abstractions around it in terms of the game engine itself are just merely structs. Then use the resources on Learn OpenGL. Oh, I was asking Karim. I'm pretty sure Learn OpenGL should have a resources, material, and texture. They have a tutorial right here about materials and how to set materials. Have you checked out that one? Well, there's no need for advanced architectures. It's just data. A material inside a shader is basically the same information outside the shader. Only on the shader it's stored on the GPU instead of on the RAM and CPU side. There's no difference. So, well, since you're Mr. Yes, since you're doing UI, I think 2D is perfectly fine. Yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, I hope I don't misunderstand you, and it's somewhat helpful, but you can just create a struct that is a material and store the data in it, and then you make some handle or ID system or whatever, and then you couple each object to a transform, to a material, to a potential texture. If the materials are the same for some objects, you simply, when you do your draw calls, make sure that they are ordered in terms of materials and textures, so you don't have to swap them back and forth all the time. All right. So yeah, I wouldn't know, buddy. I wouldn't know. Karim, are you still here or did you leave? You just take the minimum and maximum x and y values. The minimum is the minimum x and the minimum y, and in screen space coordinates. Learn OpenGL. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I haven't really used it, but people talk warmly about it. So there's a lot of different stuff in here that even though you work in a different API, you should be able to translate into something else. Uh, well, doesn't GLM um, translate into screen space coordinates? I mean, do you work in normalized device coordinates directly in the Vertex buffer, or? Yeah, but you can also get your coordinates of each four corners of your frame in screen space coordinates. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to create your vertex data. If everything renders correctly, you can always transform your vertex data into something else, like screen space coordinates or whatever, if they are in normalized device coordinates. Well, somehow your processing ends up with some kind of vertex data to begin with. So if your output is in normalized screen space coordinate, or rather normalized device coordinates, you know that you are transforming from probably screen space, but yeah, it's just data. Yeah, you could do that. You can also just translate directly into normalized device coordinates, but yeah, that gives the potential for rounding errors. If it's not a 2D game, it's not really. You basically don't need it. I don't use a orthonormal matrix or anything for my input polling and UI. Everything of this is just translated directly into normalized device coordinates and passed to a shader. I mean, I can do scrolling and all sorts of stuff. The problem is that you don't know which kind of coordinates you're working with right now. That's the actual problem, not that you don't have a ortho matrix or anything like that. And I would suggest that you find a way to figure out which coordinate system you're working in and how to translate between them, because that will help you way more. Yeah, I think so too, but to me it's not clear what vertex data you actually end up passing to the renderer. So use something like RenderDoc and check out to check out what you actually upload to the GPU. Check your vertex buffer on the GPU side and see what coordinates you actually pass to the renderer, and then you will see whether they are probably in normalized device coordinates. And when you have your vertices in normalized device coordinates, you can always translate back to your screen space coordinates by using your height and width, since uh, normalized device coordinates are, as the name suggests, normalized, meaning that they are ranging from potentially -1 to 1 or 0 to 1 or yeah. I can quickly show you how my rendering information from my UI is created. Let's see. Uh, where did I do it? I do it up here. Create render data. Build primitives. So inside this function, a screen space coordinate of x and y, meaning that if I have 1080p resolution on my screen, this could range from 0 to 1080, and of course the according y position. But I have to normalize these coordinates, meaning that I want to map them into a range between 0 and 1. I do that by dividing by my screen size and width. And then I want to translate into normalized device coordinates, which I do in these functions here, or rather these computations here. So for the x, when it's normalized, it's just the screen position. In um, in screen space coordinates. Try to think of graphics rendering as a multitude of coordinate systems. At least 3D and 2D rendering together are a series of different coordinate systems. Some have 2 axes, some have 3 axes, and and some have normalization applied to them, meaning that they are mapped. They are mapped into a specific range, meaning that they can only be between certain values, or they are unbounded, meaning that they are potentially infinite, or at least until you have a buffer overflow. So in reality, they're not infinite, but in theory, they would be. So this object here is first created as a rectangle in screen space, meaning that each pixel equals a x or y value of 1 in 2D space. Okay, I just realized when I don't select an object at the start, this buffer here has a pretty funny uh, undefined behavior. Anyway, um, so, but the problem is that this is screen space. So I can easily check if my mouse is inside, if I click something inside, because the mouse position is also in screen space coordinates. I can ask Win32 to tell me the exact position of the mouse over this specific window. I can also ask it on the screen, ask for it on the screen. I can ask for it on a different window. I can ask it for it relative to this window's internal coordinate system of X and Y's. And yeah, I can get a lot of different information. So, but that is in screen space coordinates, so it relates to the whole screen or the actual window. The problem is that your shaders work in normalized device coordinates, usually at least. I don't know if it's Vulkan you're still playing around with, but um, it will also translate vertices into normalized device coordinates because there's no need to the renderer to hold information about your screen size. It's stored in the buffer, and it's more focused on actually drawing pixels and interpolating pixels between pixels and so forth. So it doesn't need it per se, and it also needs a kind of like normalized display output that can be used on any type of screen and so forth. Uh, so normalized device coordinates are kind of like a utility in that regard, where you can translate between. Oh, okay, I haven't tried that. I don't use anti-aliasing at all on this rendering here, so it might look glitchy. Also, I think I scaled the texture uh, badly for these uh, smaller size fonts, which is one of the errors I should look into fixing. But I could definitely check that out in the future. I'm pretty sure this is. Hello, buddy. How are you? Anyway, let's just look into that actually, because yeah, but I'm unsure about the performance of it because this is directly coupled to my renderer, and I have strict control over the actual performance, and I can also multi-thread it or uh, yeah, do different optimizations. So direct write might not be helpful in that regard, but I'll definitely check it out. Maybe not in this project, but it's a great suggestion. Oh, React. I haven't toyed around with that. How are you liking it? Anyway, that uh, um, comment look into reminded me that one of the things I wanted to do was to add some border text. So we will use this tool here and create some new font stuff. So yeah, okay, I can understand that. So let's see what's up. an appropriate font size here. Let's just try to match it 1-to-1. So would we like something that is whoops, okay, the physics system didn't like that. Let's see. Compared to that, let's see, we probably, oh. Is this program bugged? Some kind of crash at least. I think it's made in Java. Sorry to any Java lovers out there. I've worked plenty in Java. It's a Ryzen 7700 and a dusty old 2060. So that's not that great, but it just is what it is. Also, I have YouTube running in the background, and I realized that I wasn't alone with the whole YouTube eating all my CPU power because of the fighting with the ad blocker. I realized that's a thing where people run into trouble in that regard. Let's see, and let's do an outline with a very small width here. Yeah, I do compressed fonts. So, but yeah, I think bitmap fonts would be probably a bit memory intensive, but you could do them. Well, this doesn't look that great, does it? Let's see, background. Let's try something. This is almost the smallest text size I can use. Thank you. Thanks for dropping by and good to see you. Yeah, I haven't really, FTC, I haven't really toyed much around with it, but I'm certain that it will be relevant in the future when something needs optimizing. We could probably do an AVX 512 version of the what do you call it? Inverse matrix function. So is this gonna look all right? I don't know. It's not that pretty. And it doesn't allow me to create smaller values here. No, it won't let me. Let's see. The padding. Oh, okay. Just a sec, I'll show you. So RenderDoc here. You find your application. I have mine here. You simply select it. In these settings, you make sure to click the reference all resources, and then launch, and then F12 or print screen to capture. and you press it, and then inside RenderDoc, you can double click your capture and select Resource Inspector and find your vertex buffer here on the list. For instance, I have a series of constant, some debug primitive buffers. I double click that and view contents. Then you have to type out a format. Maybe you have float3 as a format and then a float4 or something. And then you press apply down here and everything gets sorted like that kind of information. This buffer is empty, so nothing is stored in it, but maybe this font is just really bad. Yeah, NVIDIA Insight can do it as well. But RenderDoc is pretty commonly used. I mean, the bordered version here, I could create the bordered version myself. Oh, this is our current font. I hate it. uh, um, I think this could be okay. This could be okay. Okay, oh, this flips it around a bit. Well, it doesn't look pretty. It suddenly got more unclear. This doesn't look pretty either. Mm, maybe if we select something like... Okay. It seems a bit better when it's grayed out a bit and not that intense black. Yeah, I could probably work with this. Hmm. Yeah, that's not too bad, I think. Okay. Uh, let's see, did I name it correctly? Okay. I actually need to rename this. Sorry about that. Oh, it can't fit actually. Okay. Okay. So we should see our current workflow here is yeah, our good old texture exporter here. And we don't want mip maps for this. No mip maps, please. Compression quality. That is all right. And flip vertically. And let's store that. Okay. Let's tell our application that we want another font here. No, that's correct. It's really easy. Let's see if this actually runs. Buddy, you already have your minimum. The minimum is the position, and the maximum is the position plus the width and height. Let's see. I misspelled something somewhere, did I? I should hide all these warnings here. You mean you don't pass any information into GLM? I mean, I really don't know how you ended up doing it then. Oh, the program is open, that's the problem. No, it wouldn't make sense for me to see it because I don't know. I don't know what you're actually doing. Let me show you. So a rectangle, I'll just do something like rectangle here, and then a vec2. minimum and a vec2 maximum, that's a rectangle. You calculate it by rect values. This is just pseudo code, but position and then int width, int height, where you would do something like minimum equals position, maximum equals dot x equals position dot x plus width, and then maximum dot y equals position dot y dot height. Yeah, but that's what I told you. I just translate from screen position into normalized device coordinates and pass that to the shader. That's a vertex right here in normalized device coordinates. I don't use a function to create the vertices. I just create them myself. So when I have some transformative function here where I do something like translate into render vertices. Draw rect. And then again, this is pseudocode. He wants to know how he can render a rectangle to the screen in 2D space, but he creates the vertices for the renderer through a GLM function where it somehow scales it for him, but he doesn't supply it with a width or a height or a starting position or anything. So it's not clear how he creates his vertices to begin with. I'd do it the other way around. But as far as I understand, you don't even specify a position in X and Y coordinates anywhere. Somehow you just end up with a rectangle. But maybe I'm misunderstanding you. All right, let's see. So let's load the okay, I guess it's time that we actually no, Penguin, I'll never forget you. You're my favorite Pakistani. Yeah, they are in normalized device coordinates. You can always just let's just normalize device coordinates. Let's see graphics. Watch this graph here. It's a really great explanation. So The coordinates of these vertices you just posted are in this space. Thank you, man. Thanks for dropping by, and good luck with the React. Maybe not in clip space, but normalized device coordinates are kind of like something. It's some nasty chatting you'll be doing with all those vertices. What on earth is happening? YouTube. It's all that battling with the ad blocking um, extensions. YouTube has gone crazy. No vertices in here. I won't have it. No one knows why, I guess. Yeah. I think we should move this. Uh, yeah. Okay, okay, let me try to show you. Are you using Vulkan? Yeah. So you're working in this coordinate system here, probably, depending on your API. So could it be that your box is almost in the middle of the screen? Okay, these are flipped then. This is supposed to be down here then, and this is supposed to be up here. Uh, uh, whoops. There are like a bazillion different coordinate systems. It's horrible. It's really horrible. I wish that they just agreed on something uniform, but everyone has to have their own. But anyway, Mr. Yes, this is your normalized coordinates space system. So, so if those coordinates, you don't know. No. It's absolutely correct. It's because the shaders work this way. So a shader doesn't take your screen space coordinates. It's only when you're doing 2D space coordinates, it maps into clip space, which is actually, um, well, clip space first, then normalized device coordinates, because these do not care about screen size. And then it gets mapped into a real screen size later on. So right now your top corner is around here or something like that. Let me see. Yeah, maybe a bit more over here. So you simply translate that coordinate into something that starts with 0 and goes up to your max width of your screen. So it's basically mathematically the inverse of this function here. So you could get your old, if you do old screen space x equals, let's see, device space x divided by, now -1, no, +1, um, uh, divided by 2. Yeah. So vertex x, uh, 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 no, let's see. This is not right. Oh, maybe this is not correct actually. Let me see. Uh, so this is actually the screen space to isolate that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's correct. No, dude. Dude, no, that's not the problem. Trust me. It's not the problem. I know exactly what your problem is. Your vertex data should be in normalized device coordinates, at least from what you just posted. So let me just translate this formula back here because this is the thing that I need to isolate for the y. So we take vertex y +1 and we divide it by 2 and then we -1 and multiply it all by -1, and then you can flip the signs manually. So this would be +1, -2, -1, and then you don't need the last one, yeah. So with this formula here, you can calculate your, oh, of course I need the screen height here. With this formula here, you can calculate your screen space X and Y for all your vertices. But it's better to do it the other way around. Trust me, it's way better. You should do like I shown you, because the UI has no benefit from being already in device coordinates. Whoops. Let me see. Okay, for some reason the call doesn't happen. What if I do? Mm-hmm. Oh, I know why. Because I overwrite the... No, that's not it or what? Hello. How are you doing? Thank you. I'm not sure it's that fancy. I'm doing all right. Just hanging out. Trying to. Let's see. Whoops. Did I not create the resource here? Oh, I haven't saved the texture. Where did I actually save it then? I didn't. Did I save it into the? I started approximately 3 months ago. Maybe, yeah, maybe 3.5 months ago. Anything in particular you were wondering? Uh, okay, I haven't saved it. There we go. Hello. I don't know. I don't know. Do you mean the job market or whatever? Uh, I'm not a professional programmer. I just do this as a hobby, so I wouldn't know how the job market is. I'm sorry. Um, I used different resources. I think Frank Luna's book here is pretty good. And just yeah, once you get used to that, I haven't used it myself, but I hear that Learn OpenGL does really good graphics programming introductions in general. So okay. Okay, now our fonts are really, really small because I used the small font instead here. Also, I need to check the font data here. Are there kernings? No, no kernings. So in my system here, fonts, font loader. Do I hard code anything? I'm pretty sure I don't. Yeah, exactly. So let's see inside our UI here. I'm just gonna check whether the rendering of the text itself might be in need of a bit of scaling. There it was, our UI here. For instance, let's close all of this. Maybe not that one, but yeah. Does IntelliSense get us today, or yeah, it does. Somehow it realized how this file is built. And now we can do lookups. Hello, Georgie. How are you doing? I'm a bit tired. Been at work, been at the gym, been at the dentist. So I'm just hanging out. Yeah, well, I started working with DirectX12, and yeah, since I'm only doing this project kind of like as my own thing, um, well, I didn't see a need for Vulkan, and since Vulkan is way more of a boss and cumbersome to set up, I just went with what I knew, and yeah. I mean, you could do Vulkan uh, without any problem. Let's see. Okay, it's a bit small, isn't it? Let's see, I actually think I hard-coded the scale of the UI here. Create render data. Build text. The scale is 1. Maybe increase the scale. Let's try that. Now everything could look weird. Yeah, it looks weird. Okay, the swapping of the font here. Line height, size 20. Yeah, it can definitely be strenuous getting into something like that. I absolutely agree. I do feel that some of the text stuff here. Oh, wait a minute. Also, I hardcode the height, of course. Usually I do at least. So it looked massive when we did this. It does look better than the old font, but I mean, I mean, it was like Comic Sans and everything. Let's see, the spacing here looks a bit weird. So something is definitely not correct in terms of the actual calculation of the let's swap it back and let's see. So inside this function here, build text, build primitive. I'm unsure whether I should actually add some scaling here. Well, that was definitely not it. So somehow the scaling itself is a bit off. It's a bit off. Yeah, I agree. But make no mistake, I think OpenGL and Vulkan are solid APIs, and they have great applications. I'm sorry to inspire your nightmares. I know every in and out of the code. So to me, it's almost like a feeling of being home. I mean, that scaling is so bad. And let's compare the non-scale Georgia font to the, or rather, though they're both scaled, but the bigger one. The advances are smaller, of course. Should they be scaled by the font size? Is that the problem that I'm missing here? Do we want a factor of some kind? Yeah, I love doing low-level stuff. I was even getting hyped today about a future project. I was um, dusting off my multi-threading programming, and I realized how I would do a 100% multi-threaded DirectX 12 application, and I almost wanted to abandon this for a while just to do that because, yeah, it seemed like an awesome project, but I have to stay on track. Mhm. So we apply the scaling to everything here. But I think I have a bug here somewhere. Whoops. That I'll note here. Bugs. Fix improper text scaling due to font size changes. Yeah, I haven't changed font sizes before, so I think I need something more dynamic here. Anyway, for now, I'll just hard code it and I'll fix it some other time. Said almost every programmer who never fixed it. Let's see, let's do a bit of scaling here and see how that looks. Well, I'm pretty sure it's not gonna break unless I make it break. And thanks for the kind words. I'm trying. I have still a lot to learn, so okay. Do I like this? I don't like the spacing. I mean, the space itself. Yeah. Okay, it got better here. Let's see. Okay, that's even better, I think. Well, there are some rounding errors with the UV mapping as well, I think. Because the texture does, maybe it's just anti-aliasing that I need. Mm. And the rest of the UI needs to be reset. Is that text a bit too big? I don't know. Also, shouldn't this be plus? No, because we're in normalized device coordinates. Yeah, I'm creating the foundations of a level editor. So I've created. Let me just reset back to the old what do you call it? Text, no, font here. So I can show you what I'm actually working on. Let's see. I'll swap back here to the original Comic Sense based UI here. Some of my previous, or they're still viewers, but some viewers decided that I was supposed to use Comic Sense for my UI. Okay, I deleted something that I wasn't supposed to delete here. It wasn't inside that function. Oh, wait a minute. I changed the UI calculation. Yeah, there we go. Now I remember. Right. Oh, whoops. Now I closed the game. So I've created this UI here where I can. Let me just rotate the camera a bit here. So I can click objects like a level editor. I can actually also change their mesh. So let me just change it and deselect it so it turned into this object here. Let's see. Yeah, this is another mesh. I can also delete objects. So I'm building this UI here to make a basic level editor. So on the previous streams, I've been building the logic behind the object picking algorithm, the UI stuff here. But yeah, it definitely needs a bit more work. I mean, I don't like the font, obviously, because it's Comic Sans, and I need a bit of a bordering on the text itself. I need some minor adjustments, and I would also like a bit better control over my text fields. Right now, they are just hard-coded to have a specific size, but I need some dynamic sizes. Basically, I've laid out a plan for my level editor here. So far I've added these parts of the functionality. I can swap materials, textures, and meshes, but I need to implement a robust way of moving, scaling, and um, Paul here. Are you talking about Paul? My long and trusty friend here. Whoops. I created him myself in Blender. So yeah, I even texture mapped him. Oh, that sounds awful. Yeah, remember to turn off sound. Um, obviously, I'm not great at modeling. I'm obviously not great at modeling. Um, one of my viewers named him Paul. He felt that he should have a name. He was also one of the ones that decided on the Comic Sans font, but now I'm changing it. Um, yeah. And we also have a bit of physics, as you might see here. We have collision detection with resting points. Well, I basically tried to model a box into something that looked like a kind of human thing, and then I just spent forever uh, mapping the texture. Actually, I streamed it right here on the channel when I did it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, he's been through a lot of problems. I have a lot of hidden videos on the channel that I used for debugging the physics engine. Um, Let me show you. Uh, because I had a quaternion math error that I didn't know of that existed for like 3 weeks. Let's see. Can I find a funny? Uh, let's see. Oh, uh, let's see. Uh, so Paul behaved kind of odd for a long time. He just drifted and drifted and drifted. I even think he did weird rotations like this. Uh, I mean, none of it made sense. None of it. I mean, and suddenly he just starts spinning faster and faster, right? None of it made sense. Anyway, Paul is all right now. He just has a little bit of a jitter because I haven't implemented a sleep function yet, but yeah, yeah, I'm not great at modeling. I even think let's see, I think I also did this model here for a bullet. I mean, in no world this is a bullet, but yeah, I used it for the particle system. It's here on the channel. All right, so that stupid font calculation there is not stable, so we can't change. I use OBJ models, so I So I named him player because I thought it was supposed to be the player model, but yeah, right now I'm just using him for physics. So these are the vertices. Yeah. Yeah, AI programming will be interesting. I'll definitely let Paul be um, a enemy for a while. When I finish up the physics system, I was also contemplating like throwing balls in the head of Paul, but I don't know if it's too mean. We should definitely try letting him being hit of something very, very heavy in the head. If it's almost infinitely heavy, I think he will glitch out. But yeah, I'll definitely consider it. Yeah, we'll see if Paul is the epitome of my modeling capabilities. Well, yeah. Uh, if that's the case, he has to be. He has to be. What do you call it? He has to be some kind of character in the game. Okay. Uh, so maybe. Yeah, I need to figure out the scaling itself, but we could revert back to the fonts here. Also, I have to go in a not too far out future, far away future. I have to go soon. That's easier to say. So we're back here with our new font, which is a bit too small. So let's scale it. I haven't seen that game. Juice Galaxy. Yeah, okay, I can see the resemblance. But I promise you, we will improve it. I promised a viewer called Karim that I'll do some kind of physics-based rendering. So in my tutorial series, I did a toon shader, um, but we will do more physics-based rendering here in this project, and we will of course also do. I think we will do some shadow mapping, maybe since normal mapping and um, stuff like that is part of physics-based rendering, we will of course do that. So yeah, you too, buddy. Thanks for dropping by. I hope you get your problem solved soon. Now, where was I? Okay. Uh, don't need a list box, not for now. So right here we pass it on to the renderer. And if we simply scale it by 2, there's something in terms of the padding, I think, that is a bit weird here. So let's see. Okay. Okay. Suddenly that looks a bit better, doesn't it? I know nothing fits anywhere, but I think that we might be onto something. Yeah, so the padding was being subtracted, which wasn't great. Also, so the maybe minus X padding here, minus Y padding here, times 2. Maybe I've been missing this all along, actually. No, at least not. Well, that doesn't look too bad. I mean, the spacing is way too big. Yeah. Okay, so let's revert back to the original scaling here and see. Yeah, things. I mean, this looks pretty crisp. Pretty crisp. You might not be able to see it because of the resolution, but I think that this actually looks decent. Decent. Way better than the old Comic Sans stuff, at least. But it's like when we scale it, the aliasing itself gets pretty bad. So it's probably better just to create the right texture, or rather text size, and don't scale it. Because due to aliasing, it'll probably end up looking pretty bad. Okay. I think that might be a path to follow. Whoops. I'm thinking this instead. I don't think the let's see. I've been wondering whether this should be doubled. Because of the scaling into, no. Then at least this needs to be doubled as well. Yeah, YouTube should be live, right? I mean, if you're watching the YouTube specific chat, right? Okay, so if I subtract this, I'll end up in a situation where the characters look weird, I think. Yeah, the more I cut off the UV here, the worse it gets. It's probably not great. Yeah, I think this is probably the best it will get, and then we should avoid scaling it because uh, yeah, at least for me, YouTube seems. Are you sure? 47 seconds. I have no lag on the stream, and are you sure you're live? I'm pretty sure. Are you not live? Okay. I figured so. Usually, the um, the YouTube part of the chat is live. Okay, let's see. Oh, I haven't saved these settings. Okay. Well, I think we'd put it to 22 uh, last time. No problem, buddy. And we set this to as low as possible. And since we might think that 20 was actually our size. So let's try comparing that. Are we getting one-to-one sizes yet? I mean, I'm not sure now. It seems like almost half the size. Okay. Mm, all right, let's multiply this by 2. Uh, because we're in normalized device coordinates, I think this is at least correct. Yeah, the text looks pretty much like we rendered it in here, I think. Yeah, so the problem is my translation into what do you call it, normalized device coordinates, as I've just been ranting um, for ages about to Mr. Yes, who had trouble creating the UI and getting the coordinate system correct. So I guess we're all just learning how to do stuff. Uh, yeah, so if we have a size of 20, does it, well, I'm not sure it's precisely like that, but it might be scaled up due to the resolution anyway. Yeah, so there's oh, it was 22, wasn't it? Or was it 20? I can't remember now. It was 20. Okay. So unscaled, it's actually like this, but the application scales it a bit to fit the screen resolution better. That would also explain a bit of aliasing here and there. We have no anti-aliasing or super sampling or anything like that implemented. I do think it's a bit big. So if we scale it back manually here, does everything respond properly? Yeah, we get some aliasing. Yeah, we will get some aliasing, yeah. Well. Well. Maybe we just accept that. I mean, do we even see the border or did we not? I mean, if I zoom in here, yeah, it does have a border, but the border looks so drastic in here. But maybe we need it. I mean, at 75%, we're closer. We're still downscaling a bit. But if I decrease the size, the border like ends up eating most of the text and we get weird artifacts. Maybe 18. Could be acceptable with a black border. Or maybe just white with a black border. We will probably get some aliasing problems anyway. Yeah, I'll try 18. Let's see, what does this value actually do? It doesn't really seem to do anything in terms of the yeah, I have to look up the documentation for that. But this adds some padding. I actually think I would like some more padding here. Also to avoid maybe too much glyph overlap in the texture. Because sometimes it might sample due to rounding errors. Yeah, let's try saving that. So we will overwrite the old font file here and save the hero file as well. Georgia Small. And let me just create the texture. Flip it, save it. There we go. Okay, let's try reloading everything then. Okay, we definitely need to adjust the padding now. But did we even get the outline? Well, it should be outlined. Oh. I know why. So we basically do not use the color of the texture in any kind of way. So it's in our shader. And that's the problem. Uh, let's see. When I render the border, eventually I think this could be okay. Let's try not adding too much offset. Well, the Y offset at least needs to effective to when we increase all the other values by 2. But maybe not the X offset. Okay, when we add back the border, this might be fairly okay. It's not too big. It's not too weird. Okay. Then inside our... no, I haven't played those. I only played... I played a lot, some different games. I played Super Hard. I played... I can't remember the names. Some mini games. And also the one where you kind of like can fly around in a jetpack over a city, and yeah, some different stuff. Also, of course, the Beat Saber thingy. It's pretty nice. $48. Well, that's the problem. Inside our font here, line height 27. Do we store that one for our other fonts as well? Line height 48. Okay, I think I might store that information here inside the font loader. Oh, yeah, okay. Are you watching the chat on the top or on the bottom? Let's see. Font. Sheet height. Unsigned int line height. And inside our loader here, common line height, scale, W. So it should be 2 steps back. Line height. Hopefully this works okay. Okay, so now we should have a line height which we can hard code into our, or rather dynamically load into our renderer here, or rather our UI calculation of its height. Let's see, font. Oops. Beaming 1, or Beam NG1. Is he a streamer of sorts? Whoops. Well, it depends on your definition of hard, I guess. Well, have you coded a lot? And we will do a button here. No more half size scaling. Oh, I haven't tried that. Ah, interesting. Whoops. Text field, let's see. Maybe this should be different. Real games? Well, you could make real games in Unity and Unreal. So a lot of games won't be made like this, but this is everything made from scratch. So I basically had nothing, and I've created everything step by step. Okay, the water I'll fix, and then I'll think it'll look okay. Yeah, definitely some small fixes here. The width of the button is not correct, at least. Let's see, button. It's definitely not correct, but I think I might know why. It's because of our calculate text size. I need to scale this, and I don't need this value actually. And then the last one. Whoops, I also need this, of course. Yeah, so I even have to build my own level editor. Oh, whoops. Okay, okay. Some things got right, some things got wrong. Let me see inside this. I do. So I'm messing up somewhere. Yeah. But maybe I do. Oh, this is also not scaled correctly, right? Yeah, it's obviously overestimating. For some reason, this is not the correct value. Yeah, I definitely need the overall font scaling thingy. I mean, the text looks better than the Comic Sans stuff, but there's definitely some more adjustments to be made. And I think it should be dependent on some information here. So the base 36, let's compare to the small font here. The base is 17. Yeah. Line height and base. I mean, yeah, I need to fix that with some kind of internal scaling of the font itself, because right now this is not correct. It's not robust when we change textures, or rather fonts. And I would like to support different fonts. So yeah, I have to figure out a more robust system to fix this. Anyway, I gotta go cook some dinner and gotta do some other stuff, but I'll be streaming during the weekend, where we hopefully will get very close to being done with the level editor so I can start building levels and we can do another topic in terms of the system here. JDC calls me Bob. Um, some people call me Guide. Yeah, but feel free to call me whatever you want. I just can't promise I can remember a lot of different nicknames. Yeah, but it was nice having you guys hanging about. Yeah, thank you too for dropping by and interacting. It makes everything way better. So thanks to all of you and for all of your support. Take care, everyone. I hope to see you again here on the channel. Get good care of yourselves and keep on trucking. I'll catch you later.